The movie is about a woman named Aisha. Every night she has the same dream about a very handsome man in a beautiful house. In the dream, he always gets closer and closer. But here's the spooky part. While she's dreaming, we see a real demon is actually with her, so we know she's under some kind of evil spell. When Aisha wakes up, her husband, Ariel, comes home late again. She's happy he's home, but also mad about the time. She asks him to put some things away, but a creepy invisible hand knocks everything over. Aisha thinks Ariel did it and they get into a big fight. Ariel gets so upset that he leaves without eating dinner. The next day, Aisha tells her friend at work that she feels like Ariel has changed. Her friend gives her some advice. You've changed too. You're not sweet to him anymore. Why don't you get dressed up and be nice to him tonight? Meanwhile, Ariel tells his boss he's worried Aisha isn't happy. His boss tells him to go home and talk to her nicely. So that night, Aisha gets all dressed up. When Ariel comes home, she's sweet and kind. They have a wonderful night together, just like old times. But we see that the demon is watching them the whole time. Later, Aisha falls asleep and has the dream again. This time, the handsome man is angry. He tells her, "You can't escape me," and puts a strange flower on her stomach. Aisha wakes up terrified and finds the real flower lying on her bed. Ariel is already downstairs, where he's made her breakfast. They say sorry to each other and promise to start over. At work, Aisha sees the same strange flower in a storeroom. As she reaches for it, the handsome man from her dream appears in real life. He walks toward her and she's terrified. When she sees his reflection in a mirror, he looks like a devil. She gets sick and runs to the bathroom to throw up. Her friend follows and is freaked out when she sees Aisha has thrown up blood and worms. That evening, Ariel gets a text from Aisha to pick up her medicine. At that moment, he sees her in the empty office building across the street. He calls out, but she starts running. He chases after her and sees something impossible. Aisha's stomach suddenly gets huge and she gives birth to a terrifying devil-like baby right there on the spot. The baby starts crawling toward Ariel as Aisha just smiles in a creepy way. Ariel runs away and bumps into his boss, but when he looks back, Aisha and the baby are gone. He goes home and finds Aisha acting completely normal. He's so scared that he acts weird around her and tells her he's calling a massage nurse for her in the morning. The next day, the nurse is giving Aisha a massage and tells Ariel, "Congratulations, your wife is 3 months pregnant." Aisha is overjoyed, but Ariel is horrified. He knows this is impossible because they haven't been together like that in 6 months. Aisha is so excited she tells all her coworkers the good news, but her one friend is worried, remembering the blood and worms. Aisha is too excited to listen. Ariel gets so scared he runs off, but as soon as he's gone, we see the demon standing there, holding the evil-looking baby. When Ariel gets home, he's suspicious of Aisha, so he checks her phone. He finds messages from another guy and asks her about it. Aisha explains it's just an old childhood friend who was having a fight with his wife and needed to talk. She tells Ariel, "Don't worry, there was nothing going on between us." But now she understands why Ariel doesn't trust her. She gets mad and says, "Fine, tomorrow we're going to the doctor for a test and I'll prove this baby is yours." So, the next morning, they go to the hospital. But after the checkup, the doctor gives them shocking news. Aisha isn't pregnant at all. The doctor explains that sometimes, when a woman wants a baby so badly, her mind can trick her body into feeling pregnant, even when it's not. It's called a phantom pregnancy. Hearing this, Aisha is completely crushed, and Ariel feels awful for ever doubting her. Upset, Aisha tells her friend everything that happened. Her friend knows something is seriously wrong and says, "We need help." She takes Aisha to see a spiritual expert, a man named Zany. The second Zany sees Aisha, he also sees the demon lurking right behind her. He knows she's in terrible danger. He invites them in and explains that there are evil spirits or demons whose only job is to break up married couples. He asks Aisha if she's been having strange dreams. When she tells him about the handsome man, Zany says, "You've been targeted by a demon that ruins homes." But when Aisha tells him she's pregnant, Zany says, "No, you're not," which only makes her more angry and confused. Aisha is a mess, so her friend stays with her until she falls asleep. On her way home, the friend sees a little kitten in the road and moves it to safety. But right after, she feels something strange. She turns around and the demon is right there. It's furious that she took Aisha to get help, so it attacks and kills her. Aisha sees the whole thing happen in a nightmare and wakes up terrified. She hears noises outside, and when she looks, she sees her friend lying dead on the ground, just like in her dream. Aisha is heartbroken and feels guilty, thinking it's all her fault.
When Ariel gets home, he finds Etcha crying her eyes out. As she tells him what happened, her stomach suddenly swells up again, like she's instantly pregnant. Now they're both totally freaked out. The next morning, they go straight back to Zany. He agrees to help them and starts the process of getting rid of the demon, an exorcism. But this demon is powerful. It possesses Etcha and speaks through her in a terrifying voice, saying, "You can't get rid of me. Etcha and I are married in another world." Then it leaves her body, causing her incredible pain. Zany tells them they have to fight back. He gives them special prayers to say every day for 2 weeks. It works. For 14 days, their life finally feels normal and Etcha's nightmares stop. But then, Ariel has to go out of town for a big job. It pays really well and would solve all their money problems. Etcha tells him, "You should go, I'll be okay." That night, after Ariel leaves, Etcha says her prayers and goes to sleep. But the demon comes back, ready to attack now that she's all alone. The next morning when Etcha goes to work, all of her coworkers suddenly stop and stare at her. Their eyes turn creepy and they all start walking toward her, saying in a scary voice, "Etcha, you can't leave me."
Acha is totally freaked out by this, so she calls her sister to come stay with her. On the phone, Ariel warns Acha's sister, "Whatever you do, do not let Acha fall asleep. Remember what happened to her friend? The demon attacks when she's asleep." The sister tries her best to keep Acha awake by talking to her, but Acha is so exhausted she passes out and falls into a deep sleep. The sister tries everything to wake her up, shaking her hard, but it's no use. The second Acha's out cold, the demon attacks her sister. It touches her shoulder, then throws her off the bed. An invisible force then lifts the sister into the air and slams her against the wall, knocking her out cold. A little while later, Acha wakes up. Her stomach is huge and pregnant looking again, and she's in a lot of pain. She stumbles out of the room so upset that she doesn't even see her unconscious sister on the floor. She's so desperate that she grabs a hanger and tries to get the baby out of her herself, but it doesn't work. Just then, Ariel gets home and finds total chaos. He wakes up the sister and rushes Acha to Zany's house. This time, Zany has gathered a bunch of people to help. They all start a massive exorcism, praying and chanting together. While this is happening in the real world, we see what's going on in Acha's dream. She's trapped in the demon's world. She can hear the prayers from the real world, and she knows they are her only way out. But the demon appears and tells her, "You can't escape my world." She runs in terror, but he gets angry and grabs her from behind. The second he grabs her in the dream world, all hell breaks loose in the real world. Acha's body is completely taken over by the demon. She starts floating in the air, the bed floats with her, her eyes turn pure evil, and she lets out a horrible demonic laugh. The group just prays louder and harder, and we see that it's actually hurting the demon. The demon tries to scare Zany, but he doesn't back down. Finally, the demon starts to weaken and loses its grip. Acha and the bed fall back to the floor. Ariel rushes over and starts whispering the prayers right into her ear. In the dream world, she hears Ariel's voice telling her, "I need you, come back to me." This gives her the strength to fight back. She starts saying the prayers herself, and as she does, the demon's world starts to crumble and fall apart. Back in the real world, the demon is finally forced out of her body. The exorcism worked. Acha is finally free. We then jump forward 6 years. Acha and Ariel have a happy, normal life with their 2 kids. But in the final scene, Acha's sister goes to get the kids from playing outside. She sees a mysterious man watching the house, and it's the demon disguised as a human. The movie is showing us that even though the demon can't control Acha anymore, it never went far. It's still lurking around, watching her. And for the final shock, the screen shows that this was a true story, and the movie ends with an interview with the real woman it all happened to.